Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mark, and I want to walk you through a bunch of different options with this Grad Hat Quote Award that I got for you. First of all, it comes in two different sizes. We've got one that looks like this and one that looks like this. I'm just calling it large and small. And I want to show you a couple different options you have for it that you can choose to do however you want. First, let's start with the base. I included three total layers for the base because I really like the subtle floating look when you put a small piece like that underneath. And since this is only 1/8 inch, it doesn't look like a lot of distance, but when it's sitting on a surface, it looks like it's just barely floating. And when you use a piece of clear acrylic like I did here, it emphasizes that floating look a little bit more. So you have all three options in the file, so you can cut all three of those. The top one and the bottom one are exactly the same size. The top one has a slot in it, the bottom one doesn't. And again, you can choose to use that if you want to, or you can omit it. Two reasons why I like it. One, it does give it that floating look, and two, it also covers up the view of the tab that's there in the slot, so it makes it look a little cleaner in the end. But you can do what you want. Another option you could do if you wanted to was you could duplicate this larger piece right here, delete the slot in it, and put it on the bottom so that it's the same width instead of the smaller one. Totally up to you. Or you can just skip the bottom one entirely. So that's several options you have for the base. While we're talking about the base, there's a tab, of course, at the bottom of this piece right here that goes down through these two layers. And you'll see in the README file and also in the description that it says that that tab is 0.24 inches long. And that's because this is made for 1/8 inch material. And you've got two layers of 1/8 inch right here. So that should be just fine. But if for some reason your material is thinner than that, that tab will stick out the bottom and it won't work right. So make sure that your two layers here are at least 0.24 in total, or you'll need to shorten that tab some more. So just bear that in mind. While I've got it here also, I want to show you that I put my wife's name on here, and I think it looks really great. And I added a slot in this base, and this name is just tabbed right into that slot. Of course, that's not included in the file because you're not going to use Angie Collier for the name. So if you want to do that the same way I did, you can just simply add a rectangle to the bottom of your name and then put a slot in there and tab it right down into there just like I did. Or if you want to, you could just take the name and glue it straight to the back piece, just directly like that. It doesn't have to be tabbed in. I just did that because I like a little bit of the space it creates between the back and the name. But again, that's another option. All right. So that's the details with the base, the optional name if you want to add that. And then let's talk about the different layers that are available here. So this one's a good example of what I call just actually a two layer, because it's got this back piece and then it has the 2024 glued right directly on it. And then the message here, the text is engraved directly on this piece. So that's kind of like a two layer option, but you could add acrylic like this for what I'm going to call a three layer option, because you got the back layer, you've got the 2024, and then you also have the acrylic on the front. And we engraved the acrylic on the back so that it's nice and smooth on the front. And that looks really great. So you can do that if you wish. And then, of course, as always, you measure your material and you make the slots the right size for the material. So let me show you two different options when it comes to the acrylic as well. It's a little bit hard to see in this camera, but I'm going to turn it this way. You see how the 2024 is on the front of the acrylic, and on this one, it's in between. It's sandwiched in between the acrylic and the back piece. That's two different looks, two different options you have there. If you want to just put it on the front, like this one, that's really easy to do. But I don't know if I can hold this so you can see it. Yeah, right down. You see right down in the middle between those two pieces, you see there's a spacer in there. You know what that is? I took the piece out of the center of the zero there, and I glued it on the back piece so that when I put the acrylic in there, it holds it off. Instead of wanting to do this, I just glued it right behind this right here, and that gives it a lot more stability. Okay, so that's another option you can do there. And again, I don't This one doesn't have that because, of course, the date is the spacer there, right? Let's see, I can do that that way. So it's just like that, right? But once again, if you don't have a spacer in there, let's see if I can turn it the right way. You see that there's a spacer that I glued right in there. So that's, again, another option. What else? There's lots of different things you can do with this. If you wanted to, you could extend this base out further and you could engrave some stuff on the flat part there if you wish. There's lots of different options. But I just wanted you guys to see all the different ways you can make this, and I bet you guys will come up with some other ways to do it. But those are some different options that come with this file and some things you need to consider as you're making it. Oh, of course, you could cut it like this out of just translucent or transparent acrylic, this whole entire piece, and make this clear. That would also work. Lots of different ways to make these. So hopefully that gives you some ideas and also some tips on the different ways if you choose to do those. As always, I'd love to see what you guys make. Let me know if you have any questions because I'm here for you. But until then, as always, let me see your creations and I'll see you in the next one.